Yo, happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Friday Eve. This is another episode of Politics with Pan. You are here today. I'm Christian, aka Pan. I'm your host, and I'm here today with one of the coolest brothers that I've ever had the chance to meet, Mayor Mondale Robinson, man. Everybody give it up. Give it up. Give it up. What's up, Mayor? How you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm super. Listen. I'm here with. I'm doing politics with Pan. Long as I ain't in the pan, I'm good, dog. So I'm happy right now, bro. I get this. I get to chill and be interviewed by a black man who know what the hell he's talking about. I'm excited.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to black men, man. You know what I mean? So for those of you who don't know, well, let me tell y'all. So I came across Mayor Robinson doing research for another show. For those of you who don't know, I'm a political consultant, a community activist. We operate heavily in black political spaces to turn out black voters, to make sure that black people have, financial and political power so that we can live fruitful lives. And in my research, I came across Mayor Robinson. He was speaking truth to power about the importance of the black male vote. And he is the founder of the Black Male Voter Project. I'm saying that correctly.
You are.
And I was, to say the least, I was impressed. And it is always awesome to be able to meet other people who are in the space the same way that I'm in the space, and to see somebody who is as passionate about turning out black voters and black men specifically. It was something that I gravitated towards. So just a note for all of you young brothers out there: the power of email works, right? I sent Mayor Robinson an email, let him know who I was, what my platform was about, what I was trying to do. He emailed me back promptly, and here we are, right? So if there's somebody that you want to talk to, somebody that you want to get to know, anything like that, don't be shy. Please reach out, make the connection, because those bridges take people all over the place. And I would like to point out that I got my P.D. Pablo shirt on today.
Hey. Come on, man. Pascatang, I see you.
You know what I mean? And this is a $1 million sushi original. So if you would like to purchase this shirt, it is for sale. I will show you the rest later on, but this is the Politics of Pan merch. This is the Young Black and Gifted tee. On the black, it says Young Black and Gifted, but I wore this to shout out my brother from North Carolina going to raise up.
All right with that.
Yeah, man. P.D. Pablo was one of my favorite artists back in the day.
Yeah, man. Between the criminal justice system, I don't know if we could call it justice, the justice system, and then the industry itself and all of the politics. I feel like we didn't get to see a lot of what P.D. Pablo had to offer. But if you ever bought his album, you got to see how talented he was.
So talented. He got a song on that first album called "He Spoke to Me," which is like a gospel kind of ballad. Phenomenal song. Phenomenal song. I still listen to it to this day. Shout out P.D. Pablo, amazing artist, great, great artistic soul. But so today we are gonna be, talking about, black men and voting, of course. And just with the different things that have been going on, the first thing I wanted to bring up was ask you, have you been seeing the news about Graham Planter?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I'm laughing not because I believe sexual assault is a funny subject. That's not what I'm laughing about. I'm laughing about the fact that the world, Christian and Mondale, Norfolk, Virginia, and Enfield, North Carolina, even know of a person with a history like Planter because of a political party party that we prop up. Let me tell you what I mean by that. But let me break it down for your viewers. If you all are not familiar with Planter, Planter is he was a candidate for the Senate who won the Democratic nominee with over 70% of the people in Maine. Planter was just pushed off the ballot, basically made to drop out of the race because of sexual assault charges from his ex-girlfriend. Let me say it clearer. Planter was a Nazi on the ballot. The Democratic Party or nobody pushed him off the ballot because he had a Nazi tattoo on his body. But if a white woman says you harm her, it tells you right there that that's more important than blackness. And I'm not saying that we don't take sexual assault serious, because we absolutely must. We absolutely must. But when do we take black people and our pain serious? This man had a Nazi tattoo on his body. He was a white supremacist in a party that white men don't normally vote in, talking about the Democratic Party. And they had the audacity to call him a progressive. You cannot be a white supremacist at any point in your life and call yourself a progressive. You lose that right. So when you're talking about what does it mean to me, it just shows me, it reminds me that the mediocre state that white men can exist in and still raise or rise to the highest level of our politics. The fact that you will never hear of Andrew Gillum being the party nominee again, when that was probably one of the most progressive black men ever to run in this country. And all he did was be gay.
Yeah.
Ain't the world's business what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was the most progressive candidate we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And now he's been demonized for that.
Yeah, I was just reading about him. I was just reading about Andrew Gillum yesterday. He got picked up, I believe, in Alabama or something like that here recently, and he's still getting bad press to this day, right? And the news that I saw, right? They were saying things like Graham is going to go take a moment to reflect and all of this other kind of stuff, and they speak about him in such a tone, it's such a pleasant tone, right? It's such a way to not demonize him. Which is terrible, right? Because like you were saying, like black men, somebody like Andrew Gillum, Colin Allred, or Governor Moore, or anybody like yourself, like you would not get that grace.
I don't. Go ahead, brother.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Listen, and you don't even have to be a politician not to get that grace. Young black boys don't get that grace, and we know that. Our school systems, early as pre-K, suspend and expel young black boys at rates that are unmatched by anybody. If you are a black man between the ages of 16 and 34, one of the leading causes of death are police in this country. Armed or unarmed, you still die more by police than damn near anything. So this idea that this man can be senator or Donald Trump can be president, and we are to exist in this manner. I call people like our brother Bowen said, we are constant to be awakened in black is to be in a constant state of rage or fire. It's beyond that. It is to have your fight or flight system constantly triggered, which is stressful, which is why we die so much younger than everybody else.
Yeah.
Black men are a unique experiment in America that they're trying to see what is the quickest way you can kill some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it.
I don't disagree. I mean, and I think that, I have a lot of debates, right? Especially like, some of my white homies, you know what I mean? And they're like, man, it's not like that, right? Because they themselves, don't participate in racism the way that their ancestors did, right? Like they don't outright call people nigger, and they don't do, physically harmful things to black people and stuff like that. But it's the disconnect between like the humanity and the privilege that white people get for just existing, right? Like this man was a Nazi, is a Nazi. Like, right, you don't just like let that go. Right, like in this, black people, gay people, Jewish people, like that signals from the party. Now, mind you, people are going that the DSA, right, Bernie Sanders and his camp, DSA propped him up. This is cool, that's true, but people are trying to separate the two, like the DSA and the Democratic Party don't have a revolving door going on right now. And the Democratic Party is currently trying to figure out how to capture the fervor that the DSA is starting to put out, because the establishment Democrats, like the status quo of politics, is not working for them anymore, and they're losing. And so trying to separate it is not really keeping it real, because at the end of the day, everybody who's making these decisions are white.
Yeah. Also, I think it's disingenuous for people to pretend that the Democratic Socialists of America are a different party than the Democrats. They exist. They run in the Democratic primaries. They are creatures of the Democratic Party. It's just a wing. That's just like saying, the guards on the Lakers are upset with the Fords or trying to separate themselves. You still are a member of the Laker organization. So that's not going to work with me. I would say this, though. I feel like it's our fault a little bit. When I say our, I'm talking about people on the left because our tent is so this idea that we want to be in majority so bad that we'll accept anybody. I'm not saying that there's no pathway to redemption. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying though that there has to be certain consequences. And if you ever put a Nazi tattoo on your body, then the consequence should be you should never be a candidate for Senate. You know what I'm saying? Like that just makes logical sense to me. You made some questionable decisions. Right. Go ahead.
I was doing some research, and the way that whiteness is defined is defined by other white people, right? Like a long time ago, when all of the different immigrants came from all of the different countries, right?
Irish, Italians.
They all came, right? There was, you had the Anglo-Christian white people, like the English white people, right, who were like in charge. Right. And then so you got all these other different hues of white that come, and that those specific group of white people tell them, well, maybe you're not white enough, or maybe we don't like the way y'all eat toast, or we don't like this, so we're gonna other you. But they still have the ability to like give people that letter, to give them that white label, like you are white, which means you are safe, which means, like if this was church, right, like you have been redeemed through Christ, right? Yeah. It's okay now. Whatever you were before, we accepted you. That doesn't matter anymore. And we're going to make sure that nobody else feels like it matters either. Because right now, you a good white man in our eyes, and we're going to prop you up, good white man. And I feel like that's what they did with Graham, knowing that he was dirty, knowing that he had all of these red flags, with all of these black people saying to them, this person is bad. We should not support him. The party should not support him. And he won the primary, right? And Maine is a very white place. That also says a lot about what white people think, right? Like, because all of those white people, they knew that he was a Nazi before he won.
Yeah.
They were well aware. So like, where's your mind at? Like, and if white people are trying to kumbaya with other people, especially liberal whites, you're trying to kumbaya with everybody, but you're supporting racists and Nazis and people like, bigotry and all of these other kind of things. Like, where is the silver lining? Like, where do black people see themselves standing arm in arm with you when you will put your money and your attention behind somebody as toxic as this?
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear about this. To be clear, white people, and when I'm talking about white people, I'm talking about the majority, the institutions of this nation. Whiteness in that instance has a high tolerance for black suffering. So this idea that this man was, a Nazi does not sound the same alarms as a white woman's tears. That's as American as apple pie. That's what got Emmett Till killed. Some white woman pretending she was crying, right? So we know that we have a track record. Our body, our DNA, well, maybe not our DNA, but our RNA, the envelope that keeps it, prepares us for an America that exists in that manner. Here's where we exist, or we need to exist, and how we should show up. The Democratic Party does not win nationally without the black vote. Mm-hmm. We should not be in places where we are asking things of the Democratic Party. Right. We should be demanding. When Jamie was there, I feel like the failure was the same failure when Barack Obama was president. We tried to be the president of the whole world, knowing that if we would have just addressed the problems of black people, everybody would have benefited. Yeah. And I think Barack Obama's upbringing kept him from that. But what confused me was Jamie, other than him being a creature of the party his entire life, I'm talking about Jamie that was the DNC chair. I don't understand for the life of me why he didn't go full. He was you are from South Carolina. You know all of the problem, all of the ills of whiteness as an institution. You know that they are old and also now. They are now. And it's our job when we are in these positions to act like we know what we're supposed to do.
You know what? You were saying, Jamie, and for context, Mayor Robinson is speaking about Jamie Harrison, the former Democratic National Committee chair. Mm-hmm. And I met him, right? I went to one of my colleagues used to be the executive director of the Mississippi Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And so, every every quarter the parties have like this summit where they get together and they meet in different places and they plan and stuff like that. And he came and we were in Puerto Rico one year and he gave this really inspiring speech and stuff like that. And we had these really delicious fruity drinks. But I say all that to say he don't give me, and just for anybody listening, Barack Obama too, and I love him, appreciate that he's the first black president, right? Not throwing no shade, but they gave safe black, right?
Yeah, of course.
And safe blacks don't do for black people because they the safe black. They are the black person that white people say, I can understand what you're saying. Like the clothes that they wear are non-threatening. You know what I'm saying? They don't grow their hair out. They won't have beards. They won't participate in things that are like culturally black.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because they're safe.
Yeah.
So, and my father talks about this a lot. He's always, Obama ain't do nothing for us. Obama ain't do nothing for us. Obama ain't do nothing for us. And the fact of the matter is he did it. Like, now, did he do things for America? Yes. There are things that happen for America, but things that happen for black people at large, with us having somebody who looks like us in the seat of power, no. The plight of black people did not get lifted. We don't have more grocery stores in our neighborhoods. We don't have more economic opportunities. And when we did have a black person that was over the Democratic Party, he fed into what the white establishment wanted, and we still got less. So every time, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely want to be I don't want to be the person on your show defending Barack Obama, so I'm not going to do that. I will say that, we have more people get covered on the insurance, but I will say this too. That was a flawed system. It is a flawed system because Obamacare is nothing more than what Mitt Romney, a Republican, did when he was governor in Massachusetts. He didn't do what we wanted to do. The progressives said we need to look like what Cuba got. We need full-on health care. And people keep giving Bernie Sanders credit for that, but I refuse to give Bernie Sanders credit for something that Jesse Jackson has a part of his presidential platform in 84 and 88, right? So like, I think, when we talk about black progressives, then you're talking about the true left, and Barack Obama failed us epically. But we had to know that some of that was going to happen because Barack Obama wrote in his book that he learned how to be a black man when his white grandfather took him to a pool hall in Hawaii. Now, Hawaii's probably got 13 black men. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't trying to minimize somebody's existence, but those people are probably somehow connected to the military. That's how they got over there.
Yeah.
Right. So like this idea that you learn how to be black in a bar is not how you and I, Christian, or your father learned what blackness was. We knew very early what it meant to be a Negro in the South or a Negro in America. Because Malcolm X said everything below Canada. I would say everything below everything is the South. If you're a black man, you know what I'm saying? So I think Barack Obama has a natural inclination to find a way to love white people because the people that raised him were white.
Yeah.
Right. He don't have that natural, what's built into you and I for survival reasons is to question whiteness until you show me I don't need to question you. He didn't have that because his toot, what he called his grandmama and his granddad and his mama, they loved him.
Yeah.
Right. So we grow up questioning until you show us we don't need to question you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. We still know that you are white, but you might not be of or in love with your whiteness. And I think that's the difference, that Barack Obama had a love for whiteness that will get black people killed in America. And we see that right now, especially for young black men, as we talk about where this brother at that went missing on his boat with his supposedly 3 white friends. And you know what I mean?
3 white friends, and that baby is gone.
Oh man,
that baby is gone. And before we get into that, I would like to say I do acknowledge that Barack Obama did help a lot of people get covered over healthcare. And to clarify my point, and it's for everybody, I'm a millennial, right? Like, so when Barack Obama was in office, I was 18, right? So between ages of 18 to 24, I'm rather young, right? Like, you know what I'm saying, rather healthy. So a lot of us during that time, right, like that healthcare thing, that didn't mean shit to us.
Right.
Like, and so when I say we didn't get anything, like not to diminish the things that
Yeah.
he did do, because he did do something. But when we are speaking in the microcosm of blackness, and we are speaking in the subgroups of blackness, young, old, gay, straight, male, female, as a young, like the progressives say, as a young cis hetero male during that time, I did not feel the effects of somebody who looked like me being the most powerful man in the world.
And
I
you damn
was
sure didn't feel the effects like white men are feeling it under Donald Trump's administration, where he's giving
right,
no big $500 million, no big contract to white men that's friendly with them. So I definitely
right.
get it.
Because I know a lot of very intelligent, prominent black contractors, military contractors, people who pour concrete, people who do all kinds of stuff. And none of them became billionaires. None of them were able to IPO, like none of that. I mean, like you got Loop Capital out of Chicago.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I just now found out about them not too long ago, and they from Chicago.
Yep.
That's one of the most prominent black banking firms in the world.
Yep.
That man built that company from working in a mailroom.
Yep.
And we didn't see him, but when you do see news about Loop Capital, you see white journalists and white mayors and stuff like that fighting with them, saying that they are doing, X, Y, and Z and ABC to be able to make money. But like their white counterparts, they just get anything.
Yeah.
They get to do anything. Yeah. And it's
and they get pardoned.
Cause I mean, what's up with all the white dudes in the diapers during July 4th with the diapers on their face?
Yeah, that part. I mean, I just told people that those are modified Klan hoods. They walked around DC in modified Klan hoods, and we you can say what you want to, and that's why I try to tell people the both-ism is dangerous in this moment, because one of these parties is racist out loud in our face. They are literally saying and recruiting more armed people with white supremacy language, right? So we need to acknowledge what they are saying to us in our face with our tax dollars. I think it is dangerous for that reason. It is dangerous for us to be asleep, right? And
so to pivot off of that, when you're talking about tax dollars, as a mayor, I want to know how you feel about the rise of politicians like Mayor Mamdani and this populist movement. What do you think about? Do you think voters are embracing populism more now because traditional politicians, they feel like they failed them?
I believe that, here's where I get to know that one day I will be able to retire from politics and everything is going to be all right. It's your generation and the generation behind you. I have no trust in people born in my generation. I'm 47, so people born that are Xers, one generation in front of you, or baby boomers, or what they call the greatest. I have no faith in any of us, because I was raised by baby boomers, and baby boomers showed us that we cannot trust them. They fucked this. We are dealing with all of their problems. You've been through two financial crises in your life. You.
Yeah.
These people are responsible for all of this, dog. No millennial is responsible for any of the problems we're dealing with at this moment. Right. And I think until we acknowledge that our system was broken because it was built not for a multiracial or multicultural democracy. America had a multicultural democracy for maybe 20 some years, and then they started eating away at it because they couldn't take the idea that white people might lose the little power that they had. This 250 celebration is of democracy is a joke. Democracy, by definition, by the United Nations definition, requires free access to the ballot for all citizens. Black people up into the 60s could be killed, especially if you are a black man, hanging from trees, could be killed for trying to exercise their franchise. And then as soon as we were able to, they created black codes. Black codes weren't just to repopulate slave fields. It was to keep black people out of elected office. If you don't believe me, look what they did in Wilmington, North Carolina. A duly elected multicultural government was overthrown, and the federal government did nothing. They killed black electeds that won in the 1800s, and then they just took our vote away for almost 100 years. And now we're right back at point A, because the voting rights gone. Don't let anybody fool you. That shit is gutting 2 and 5, it kills the voting rights. Like it has no teeth. It is dead. It is dead. We went from you don't have to outright say that it's racist, but if the results of you passing gerrymandering districts was racist, then it was racist. To a Supreme Court with a black face up there, Clarence Thomas from the South, saying it don't matter to us. You can damn near just draw any district you want to and just do it. Just name it as political, and we'll be okay with that. This is crazy talk, man. Like America is at the point where people are talking about they're fighting to keep their democracy. We don't even have a democracy, bro. We don't have a democracy.
We don't.
You can't tell me
an oligarchy.
Yeah, no, Trump is a president for real. Let's be clear. Yeah. I don't give a damn what his title is, Pan. I don't care what his title is. Donald Trump is doing more than any king right now in England. You name one who's behaving like Trump. They said they were going to release the Epstein files again. The judge ordered it, and Trump started bumming it around again. He started calling people idiots. We have a man who falls asleep on the national TV, on international TV, talking to other leaders and completely clueless about anything. And instead of talking about the war that he started, he wants to talk about a foul that a soccer player got. We
still lost.
And we damn sure lost.
And we still lost.
Got that boy lost because of it.
Got that boy brought back in. Got that boy brought back in. Yeah. Shout out to the Knicks. I'm glad the Knicks prevailed, but he almost led the Knicks to their demise. But I'm not like I've been watching soccer now since they're forcing the World Cup on us. It is just you got it at least a little bit. Yeah. And to see how unprecedented it is. Yeah. It was for him to get a red card and to be able to be put back in the game speaks solely to Donald Trump calling whoever and saying, we're going to give y'all a tariff. We're going to drop some bombs. I know he called them people and threatened them.
But listen, the head of the International Soccer Federation is already, he's corrupted in a damn way. Like, so he's Trump type of guy. Plus, people forget that he lives in Trump Towers in New York. Trump is his landlord.
Oh yeah, he gonna
Trump is his landlord, dog. Trump is his landlord. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the guy who created a peace prize to give to Trump. What did you think was going to happen? He literally created a soccer peace prize to give to Trump. But it also, what does it say about America that your president is so thirsty for prizes and himself that he would even accept that shit?
I think it says that we'll eat our own. And we have proven that we will, especially like the ruling class, right? The white ruling class, they will eat their own and they will eat everyone else, right? Yep. Like that's just it. A very cannibalistic, self-serving, very me, and let's step on everybody else kind of country. And I think, just that's why the world is in the influx that it is right now. You know, like everything is all in disarray because everybody is afraid of what this white man is going to do. He's unhinged. He doesn't move with any kind of intention or integrity. He just does things that are going to make him and his cronies richer. He's not worried about the environment. He's not worried about people's mental health. Like those Trump accounts, I got people in my comments underneath that clip I made telling me how dumb I am, how, the Democrats got the wool over my eyes. And
ain't no wool over your eyes, brother. And people acting like it's something great. That just tells me people don't understand how American politics works. Like anybody screaming at you about the Trump accounts really don't understand anything unless people have ability to invest and they don't. The most those people are going to have is probably $17,000. Are you telling me it's worth the pain that Donald Trump will cause on America to give somebody $17,000? I don't think so, because that money would have been made in other manners. If you would have fully funded pre-K in this country, that same amount would have been, those people would have been worth way more than that. If we fully fund public education, if we stop cutting money from HBCUs, we would be way off, better off. So this idea that if you wouldn't have eliminated the entire department that studies sickle cell in the CDC, we would be way better. Black people will be way healthier than the $16,000 or $17,000 that people may have when they turn 18. So I think what happens is these are the same people that are in your comments are probably the same people that were going crazy or getting excited about $2,000 that was theirs anyway. Donald Trump ain't giving you nothing for free.
He not. And the crazy part about it is because in the video I was telling everybody basically that this is the baby bonds act that Cory Booker and Ayanna Pressley put out in 2018, and then they reintroduced it in 2023. And that piece of legislation actually gave people money. It actually gave the families money. It was money that the government was investing in your future. Similarly to how the government invested in white soldiers and white sailors, and white airmen with the GI Bill. It's the same kind of economic uplift. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. But when you
it is the thing that created the middle class in the United States. Before the GI Bill, after World War II, there was no middle class in America. You have to understand what you're saying and how important it is. There was no, fact check me, there was no middle class in America before the GI Bill. The GI Bill made it so people could go to school in large numbers and also own homes. So you're absolutely right. That investment was way powerful than what that $17,000, which, in 18 years from now, you'll probably be able to fill up your tank for $18,000.
Because inflation is going crazy.
Come on, man.
Like inflation is going crazy. And knowing this, and this is, just because I'm I'm history book, but also like movies, right? And I know this because every movie I've ever seen that was like pre-World War I, I believe it was. Yeah, World War I. White people lived in squalor unless they was rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
They completely lived in squalor in little shacks. They walk around with mud on their face, dirty all the time.
There were no neighborhoods for them to live in.
It looked like old brother, where art thou? All the goddamn time.
This place is a geographic odyssey. It's 2 weeks from everywhere. Fucking love that movie, bro.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I believe that the guy who wrote that movie also
based it off of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
You see it up there, don't you? That's one of my favorite books. I mostly just read Black, but the Odyssey and the Iliad is up there.
Before I go watch that movie, I need to read those books because when I've been hearing about the movie, especially a lot of Black people talk about like, man, you read the Odyssey and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I need to join a book club because there are a lot of books that I usually only read books about Black people, like you said. Like, if it's something that I'm reading or listening to, it's about Black people.
That's real.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's what we need to be doing. And I was going to tell you that too. You should gift your white friends that you said you argue with that said it because they don't say the N word and all that. You should definitely gift them How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibrahim, because that tells them like there's so many other ways that racism show. I try to tell people being a racist is not a permanent state. You can be the best ally and in one moment be racist. It's not a permanent state. People that people automatically assume when you say racist, they think that you're talking about the guys with the diapers on their face, as you said, or the Klan. There's other forms of racist. When you see something that you know is an injustice against someone because of their skin color, or you hear your uncle say something, but there's no Black people around and you don't check them, in that moment you acted like a racist. Totally. So I think people think that when they hear racist, they think of Bull Connor or the Klan. Yeah,
exactly.
But that's one form.
Yes,
it's racist. It's
and
racist.
I feel like it gives them, like, especially like the white guys my age, right, and younger, right, because it's like, bro, I ain't never called you a nigger. I ain't never hung nobody. I ain't never done any of that stuff. But like, you know what I'm saying? I can make these Black jokes because it's comedy. Right, you know what I mean? And the thing is, it's like, nah, bro, like you can't do that. You can't. Right? Like you can't do that. Like, let's just not make jokes about our race, period.
At all.
You feel me? Because you are going to strike a nerve whether you know it or not, whether you are being well-meaning or not. You're gonna strike a nerve. You're gonna do something that is insensitive. It's like telling gay jokes. It's like telling jokes about disabled people. Like, just don't do it. Right?
I tell people all the time, your comedy should stop. Just your comedy should be like your rights. Your rights end when you begin to infringe on somebody else's rights. And I think your comedy should stop when you start talking about a people that you don't belong to, and you may be offending them. I think that's just simple. That's simple.
There's a show I watch on YouTube, and there's a guy, like, he helps people with their finances. And he had this white dude on there, and he was basically saying, like, words are just words, right? Like, I can just say a word and it not mean nothing because I'm not trying to be harmful. And he was like, I can say nigga right now, and it wouldn't mean nothing. And the white dude was like, what? And he was like, wait, let me go get my black friend. So, and black friend on this show, if you ever see this, no, I'm disappointed in you, nigga. Because you shouldn't have participated in that shit at all. You shouldn't have let them white people humiliate you on on Joe Biden's internet or whoever the fuck's internet this is. You shouldn't have let them white people humiliate you, dog. Like, you gonna sit in there and watch millions of people watch this white man call you a nigger and try to make a point and be like, I didn't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. It means like that. It is like that.
It is that way.
To defame you. It is to dehumanize you. It is to make you less than. Like, and if you sit there, and if he is a well-meaning white man, well, listen to some Malcolm X. Well-meaning white people do fucked up shit. You ever heard of them white people who wanted a country club up in the Northeast and they flooded the whole goddamn town and killed over 1,000 people because they wanted to fucking swing a piece of metal at a ball? Those were well-meaning white people.
Central Park in New York, probably one of the largest parks in the world, is on black land. Black graveyard is on the Central Park. Shit, you don't even have to go back that far. Raleigh, North Carolina, when we had Hurricane flooded Princeville, the first black town in America, formed by formerly enslaved people, was flooded out because they didn't want to flood Raleigh. In our lifetime, yours and mine, bro.
Yeah, bro. Look at Katrina, dog. Look at Katrina.
Same thing.
Look at
People
Katrina,
we say Katrina, but we should say look at what the government did, because it wasn't Katrina. It was the failure of government.
It was the failure of government, bro. They blew them levees up, bro. They killed all them people, dog. They displaced all them people. And there is hundreds of thousands of black people, bro, with PTSD right now. Nobody gave them any kind of mental health help, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got these documentaries coming out now about the Katrina babies, the people who was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They sense of community, they sense of identity washed away. They're going back home. You're seeing all of these different, and I know people think it's entertaining, but I see the people down there in New Orleans like screaming for help culturally. They're like, yo, they come in here and they stripping everything that made this place what it was. They are taking our stuff from us, bro. And if you are somebody who cares about people who look like us, you should come and stand shoulder to shoulder with us and help us to preserve this, because this is Black history. This our history. This our culture. Like, my best friend, he from the 8th Ward. Like, he always just talk about like what it was like. And whenever we go back, it's like, it's to the point, like, it'll make you cry, bro. It'll make you cry listening to them talk about what was. And it's like listening to somebody talk about the 50s, bro. Like, it's this far gone time of this wonderful Black place where people share music and culture and God and dance and fashion. And now it's just like they like picking through the debris of what their lives were because of the mismanagement of white people.
I need people to understand that mismanagement was not a mistake. So don't automatically assume because it's mismanaged that it was a mistake. That mismanagement is intentional when it comes to our people. Like, the suffering is the answer. It's what they were seeking. It's why, right? Like, this is a space they didn't even think we could exist in, right? It's below sea level. This is not going to be profitable. This is a perfect place to put these Negroes. Long time ago, so they thought. And then when it ain't, let it go. Who cares? Is what that's their mentality to Black people everywhere.
Yeah.
We get so caught up, man. We think, look at, I'm gonna tell you how brainwashed, how fucked up we are, with our history and how we let people name it. Bad meaning people who don't understand us. Sometimes it's us. We call one of the most successful black towns in the history of this country Black Wall Street. Why would we ever call Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street? Chasing whiteness.
Yeah,
Wall
because the
Street
white
in
ice
New
is
York.
golden.
Wall Street in New York is full of crooks, people that are exploiting people, lying about what they were. Tulsa, Oklahoma was none of that. It was
Yeah.
black grit and work ethic that created one of the richest black communities in spite of, you know what I'm saying? In spite of,
Man.
and we call it Black Wall Street. Not to mention Wall Street, the physical Wall Street in New York is where they used to sell slaves.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
And we out here
That
talking
is a
about
bar.
Black Wall. It ain't no Black Wall Street. It's Black genius.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Hold
Like,
on.
ain't no stop, ain't no day trade, ain't no trade that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It wasn't just Tulsa, Rosewood, Wilmington, Durham, all of these places. It just happened. Black Bottom, Detroit, man. If you go to Black Bottom, Detroit, I'm from Black Bottom, North Carolina. That's Black Bottom probably in every state. But if you go to Black Bottom, a neighborhood in Detroit, bro, you see what they did, how they did it, what they did in Arkansas through the 9th Street, downtown Arkansas, how they ran a highway right through the middle of it, and then they put no exits right there, so you couldn't support black businesses. So they fucking closed. They split the black neighborhood in half, and then took the exits away.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to live in Detroit. Hold on. I'm not at home, and
Go ahead,
my
bro.
laptop.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead, bro. What's up, y'all? This is my first time being on Pan Politics with Pan. My name is Mondale Robinson. That brother didn't tell me to do a commercial, but I'm just trying to do a commercial for that brother while he hook up. He's traveling right now. He's out supporting his friends. So I wanted to make sure that I, show up for that brother. Everybody that's watching him on Facebook, you should make sure that you shared. When he look at his analytics after this, as many people on Facebook should have shared this. Anybody on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to this brother. You like it. You can jack up the algorithm and he can show up more if you are commenting and also being committed to him. So turn on your alerts. So whenever he goes live, you make sure you don't miss anything. Uh-oh. I think he's back. So just in case he's not, if you guys got any questions, anybody got any questions while Pan get his situated, while he gets himself situated, I'll be more than happy to take any questions. You put it in the comments. I can see those questions. And until he comes back, I'll make sure that I'm here conversating with y'all. Is conversating a word? I don't fucking know. It's a pidgin language anyway. English is a pidgin language anyway. So until the brother Pan is back, I'm here to talk with y'all. Derek, I think I gotta disagree with you, brother. I don't think women should submit. I think you meant submit to their husbands in the context in which you are saying it. I don't think if you are gonna quote, brother, if I may, I'm pushing back gently on you. If you're gonna quote what the Bible say women should do to men or to their husband, then you should also go to Proverbs and quote what the Old Testament says about how men are respected or why men are respected in our community. Because it tells you, if you are biblical, if you are thinking about the Bible there in that way, then you also have to understand that the Bible says a proverbial woman in 31:10 is respected. Is respected because a man is respected because of his wife. It says that the woman sees a field and she buys it with her own money. Her family wears purple garments. And in the biblical time, especially Old Testament, to wear purple meant that you were rich or wealthy because it required indigo, and indigo was a hard crop, an expensive crop, and only the wealthy people could get it. It said that men were respected at the gates with the elders because of their women. So this idea that women should submit to men, it's partially correct, but you also got to say the rest of that, and that requires you to go to Proverbs 31:10. You back, bro?
I think so. Can you hear me?
All right, cool. I was trying to hold it. I can hear you. I was trying to hold it down for you while you was gone.
No, you held it down. I definitely appreciate that. Man, traveling and shooting this podcast at the same time is a task.
It is.
Yeah,
It
the
is.
Wi-Fi be working good, and then all of a sudden it's just not working the best. But so
Let me give you a couple. Let me give you a couple pointers too.
oh yeah,
Uh,
put me on game.
Mac Mini, you can get a, and I'm not advertising for Apple. A Mac Mini, you can just grab that joint like they like it this big. You can throw it in your bag. It's a whole computer unit. Keep you two Wi-Fi port like mobile Wi-Fi's from like one from Verizon, one from T-Mobile, one from whatever you want to get them from. Just keep two of those joints so you can have your own network with you wherever you go, and then get your mirrorless camera and a pod, and you got a whole studio on the go. I'm gonna send you all of that equipment link. Don't worry about getting the camera because I like what you're doing. So
Yeah, no, I sure appreciate that. And I want to go back. So I used to live in Detroit. I used to live on the east side. I used to live in Jefferson Chalmers. So
oh yeah,
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 so I worked for the Progressive Turnout Project back in 2018, 2019. And so I moved up there to go and work in Livonia, Michigan, which is one of the most racist places I've ever been in my entire life. Um, and that's when I learned about Black Bottom, right? Because and what they did there, and like just speak, like you speaking on the different ways that white people came into Black communities and uprooted our economic prosperity
yeah,
is the one thing, especially like when I'm seeing these different people talk about Black people crying and this and that and the third.
yeah,
Like it's like you don't know your history, right? You don't know American history.
yeah,
Shout out to my homegirl Stacey Childs, who is going to be one of our new state reps here in Texas. Stacey is a staunch advocate for what I'm saying, American history told with the truth in it, right? Like letting people know about what Black people went through and like how that has led us to where we are today. And in Texas right now, they are inserting a lot of religion and taking out a lot of the things that make white people look like who they were, right?
yeah,
Instead, trying to make them look like Superman, right? Like
yeah,
they want George Washington and Thomas Jefferson to
yeah,
look like Superman and the Green Lantern instead of Lex Luthor. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like which is unfair to the kids, right?
yeah,
Because those like those white children are gonna grow up with this lie of like who they really are.
yeah,
And if you told them the truth, Nolan would be here.
yeah,
He
yeah,
wouldn't
man.
have,
Yeah, man.
it wouldn't
Yeah,
be anything like that. You
that's
know
a
what I
fact.
mean? Like it wouldn't be like that at all. Many people who will cater to whiteness
Mhm.
because of the money and the
Yeah,
access. I want to go to
yeah,
football games. I want to go to concerts. I want
yeah,
to see Taylor Swift. I want to do what rich white people do. I want to go lay around on a boat all day. And the thing is, you could totally do that. We got the internet now. There's really nothing stopping us from coming together collectively and creating a Black economic system that spans across the internet that we control, that they don't have any part of. Hence why the federal government was chasing its tail when all of the cryptocurrency came around, because they were like, what is this? We don't know how to regulate this. We don't even know how to control it because it's not something that came from us. But those of us who are safe,
mm,
because that proximity to whiteness grants them things that they otherwise would not have. They don't want to get down with the movement. They don't want to help the people, but they also hate parts of themselves that they see in us, right? Those of us who speak in African American vernacular, those of
hey,
us who don't speak, in the way that is
mm,
proper, right?
right,
People who aren't quote unquote polished, right?
yeah,
Like to be able to
yeah,
go into these specific spaces with
yeah,
these white people and these well-to-do Negroes and do business. And they act
yeah,
like Mr. Johnson, who ain't had a job since he was 19 years old, and he a millionaire. He got bread. He owned land out in the country and stuff like that. They don't even go talk to him. They don't bring him into the phone. They don't bring him to the board meeting or anything like that because he might wear suspenders.
mm-hmm,
But he an agricultural genius. But they're gonna
mm-hmm,
write him off because he's not gonna put on a suit today. He is going to do what is most comfortable for him instead of doing what the white people think is the best thing to do to show up in their space. But
mm-hmm,
going back to your point about why we calling it Black Wall Street, it's just like I mean, quite frankly, Niggas is scared to have their own space.
Mm.
Everybody keeps saying, man, look what they did to us before, bro. Look what they took from us. Look what they took from us. They're terrified to have their own space. They
Mm.
don't know how to operate alone.
Mm.
They don't know how to be alone. They
That's
scared of
powerful.
that. Like, and the moment, like, you can't fight a war with scared soldiers.
Yeah, it
Like,
ain't gonna work.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not gonna work. It's not
not
gonna
gonna work.
work at all. It's not gonna work at all. I do have some more questions though. I know
Yeah,
I
of
had
course.
some. You know, we gonna have to run this back when I got a
Of course.
look more stronger internet connection.
Yeah,
Uh,
we locked in though. We locked in.
but
Let me say something real quick. I know you got more questions, but let me say something because I think I don't want people to miss what you said um, about what's happening. But I also don't want to disconnect it from history. What we're watching right now, this white backlash, is common in American history. Every time Black people go make 2 steps forward or make forward progress, there's always a white backlash. We got free from slavery and had Reconstruction, elected more Black people than any other time, not excluding any. Right after slavery, what's the first thing they do? They created the black codes. They created, you got to count the poll tax, everything, and also the Klan killing Black men because of the 15th Amendment. We saw the Civil Rights Act, then we saw Ronald Reagan, right? War on drugs created mass incarceration. We saw Barack Obama, then we saw Donald Trump. So what we're living through right now, we're actually living through what is the result of replacement theory. And when you said these, like, it's not fair to these kids because what they're learning is not really their history. We are living through the mechanisms that were created by people who really believe the lost cause. The idea that white people were fighting, that the Confederate was about states' rights, and white people that the 50 and 60 years after the Civil War, they taught all of this in America. Well, shit, they probably still teaching that in some of our states' history books about how these were good white men who were fighting to protect state rights from Northern aggression, when it was nothing about Northern aggression. It was all about slavery. Even though the secession documents, and I didn't see this until I was an adult, from Mississippi, North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia, they articulated clearly that they were separating because of slavery. That was never taught in school. It was taught that these northern states, these Yankees, were aggressive against southern state rights, and that was the reason for the war. So all of these people taught that. Now, and now they're being taught something completely different. They're being taught the next version of that, and we have to worry about what is it going to look like 50 or 60 years from now from the kids, like you said, that are not learning their real history. They're learning this new history. George Floyd was a drug addict, and that cop was, scared for his life.
Yeah, which is not true.
Which was not true.
Which is not true. But my daughter's gonna know. My daughter's gonna know the truth.
Yeah.
Like, she gonna get the unadulterated Black truth at our house.
Yeah.
It ain't none of that. Like, nah, it ain't none of that. None of that is gonna be happening. Because it's just it's a disservice to the country. And all of these people who are like, they're patriots and they love America so much. It's the opposite of patriotism.
They're not patriots.
It is it's racism.
Yes.
That's the ism. It is racism. You think that white ice is colder, the white people and the Black people who like to stand arm in arm with the white people because they got the money. You want them to bring you on their boats. You want them to, you want them to lavish you with their heaven on earth. And that's fine. But know that your Black ass gonna end up like Nolan. In some way, shape, form, or fashion. You gonna end up like that, brother, because they ain't really got no love for you.
Or some version of it.
Yeah, like look at that brother from The Blind Side. They fucked him.
Yeah, and I mean it's every brother that puts himself in that position, right? Like we can just write off the list. That's why Jay-Z said, "You still OJ."
Yeah.
You still okay? You okay? You think OJ is separate from Black people? Okay, that's what Trick Daddy said. You still a nigga. It don't matter if you got a wicked jump shot or you slant. You still a. It don't matter. This system is set up to see you in one way. You can be a shucking jive. You can be whatever you are. You could be, Coon College. You still want to. They still see you in one way. You are a tool for them or a loud force against them. And I hate it for the brothers who choose to be tools for them, because the universe. I tell people all the time. One of the hood classics was New Jack City. And the most powerful line in that movie, the best part of that movie, is when that old Black man look at Nino and know that he's obligated to sacrifice his entire existence to get rid of Nino because what Nino means to his community. Your
Yeah.
soul is required in hell. And that's what I feel for all of these tools for white supremacy that looks like us. Your soul is required in hell. I'm not saying
Clarence
I wish
Thomas.
you die. Yeah, I'm not saying I wish you die. I'm just telling you, when you do, just know you're going on a permanent hot vacation to a
Yeah,
tropic
sure.
that you ain't playing on.
Clarence.
For sure. And
Clarence.
especially Clarence, because he's Geechee. And he knows what it means to be Geechee. You are Geechee. Your people, our people, suffered through the rice paddies that built. Oh man, if you understand how much land was moved by black people to build a rice paddy, to make South Carolina the world's largest producer of rice right now still, if you understand what was the trenches that was dug and the water systems that were built and how many people died from alligators drowning, just disease and snakes, building that waterway, building that economy that made Charleston as rich as it is right now, if you understood that, there's no way in hell Clarence Thomas should be who Clarence Thomas is, but for his sickness. That sickness is that the proximity or the desire to be next to whiteness.
Yeah, I believe that his parents told him that he needed to do all he could to be next to well-meaning white people.
Of course, come on, man.
I don't fault his parents for that. I really don't. I really don't. And I mean, and as much as I talk shit about bro, I really feel bad for him. I don't, I have sympathy for him. I don't, I because that's not love, right? Like you can tell that he's not operating from a place of love. He's operating from
mental illness. Mental illness.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's I definitely think it's like mental illness, but it is, it is something like it's, our parents are they are like usually our guiding lights through so many different things. And I think that, like a lot of people like the grandma that would tell the light-skinned grandbaby that they're gonna be able to do great things, but wouldn't tell the dark-skinned grandbaby the same thing. I think that Clarence is suffering from that kind of PTSD.
Yeah,
and it manifests itself in what we see now. Like, and I feel for him, and I hope, what I'm saying.
I mean, I tell people all the time, Clarence Thomas, my dad, them guys are raised from a generation of people where their parents couldn't tell they were, think about it, my granddad, my dad's dad, who was a sharecropper. My dad grew up on a sharecropping farm. For the people that don't know, I'm the mayor of what used to be a sundown town, right? So when we'll get to that, I'm certain. But my granddad is the son of a enslaved black man, right? Think about that. That's crazy. That's crazy. And if you think about the times that those people raising them black people, raising my dad and my granddad, they didn't go around telling them how much they loved them and how beautiful they were. Because if you did that on the plantation, you run the risk of one, creating a black boy that's too proud because he knows his parents love him. That's a death sentence. Because white man gonna show him how I'm gonna break you. Or creating a black woman who knows how beautiful she is. Imagine being on a slave plantation telling your daughter that she's beautiful. She's walking around as beautiful as she is.
Yeah.
She's gonna become appetite dinner for a hungry white man who has an insatiable appetite for blackness, even though he thinks he hates it. You understand what I'm saying? So you got a generation of people that didn't tell their kids how much beautiful, how much beauty the capacity to be beautiful or the capacity to be loved and strong, because that was a death sentence.
Yeah.
So what we see, that what you're articulating about Clarence Thomas, I mean, Clarence Thomas is just that. You were raised by a generation of people that were not freely or could freely tell you how beautiful and strong you need to be, but for siding yourself or locking yourself with whiteness.
Yeah.
So you can survive and live and not be killed.
Yeah. I mean, and it's sad that, like, what I'm saying, in 2026, like, where, like he got a little leeway to be somebody different, that he's like stuck there. But they say that when you get past a certain age, your brain start making new connections. And that's gonna be
the other side of it.
Yeah.
Right. Another brother from South Carolina that's older, James Clyburn. James Clyburn should have been, the first time I seen James Clyburn get locked up for protesting was when he thought South Carolina was going to redraw his district. When they killed George Floyd, he let white people do? He let the white Democrats take a knee and put on kente cloth.
You know what? Wasn't he in that picture?
No, I ain't in that picture. He in
Well,
that
no,
picture.
what's that? No, wasn't he in that picture?
He right beside him.
He in the back.
He right beside Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi in front with kente cloth on. Now imagine this. How about he should have said, fuck your kente cloth picture. Give me kente cloth policies.
We're not getting that. We're not getting that.
Give me policy. The kente cloth represents all of what it means to be a part of Kwanzaa. If you look at the principles of Kwanzaa, give me policies that represent that.
Yeah.
Kujichagulia. You know what I'm saying? Give me all of that. We ain't getting that.
You're right. We're not getting it. We're not getting that from that generation. We're not getting
All we're
that.
gonna get is a knee. So you on one hand, and they wonder why young black brothers like you are looking at them sketchy. That young black men, and this is who we focus on at Black Male Voter Project, the organization I created. We focus on brothers who don't have college degrees, brothers who are not politically acclimated, or brothers who don't give a damn about politics. Not that they don't care about, they're not political creatures. It's just the way that we practice electoral politics is a turnoff to them because it's so transactional.
Yeah.
And what we know is they're looking at the political class, the elite, the bourgeoisie, these people who believe in the talented 10th, even though W. Du Bois himself, who created the idea, abandoned it before he died. These people, brothers are looking at them like, y'all motherfuckers are the reason that slavery lasted so long. Because your version of black leadership is going to get a lot of us, or is getting a lot of us killed.
Yeah.
This
version of black
bullshit-ass version is crazy.
Their version of black leadership is, yes, I am a black Democrat. Yes, I'm a black elected official. And yes, I do represent a majority black area, but I represent a majority black area in a way that would be appeasing to white folks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%. Because ain't no way you can be as high up in the Democratic Party as James Clyburn is and be elected over and over from the same district in South Carolina, and that district for this damn long is still the poorest congressional district, or one of them in the entire country.
I live in 3rd Ward in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
And one of the congressional
district now, huh?
Right. Like, where I think it's over 40% of the people who live on that side of the city don't have a car.
Right.
Where most of the neighborhoods that encompass that district is a food desert.
Yep.
Where they're like the only businesses for real that are in that district, black people don't have access to, right? Like for real, unless you like work at TSA at the airport, right? But like a lot of black people ain't getting no money from Halliburton. A lot of black, you know what I'm saying? You getting the menial jobs, you know what I mean? Like it ain't a lot of like workforce training. It ain't a lot of that going on, right? Like it's just not. Like you go to the north side. You know what I mean? Like you can go all over where black people are in Houston, Texas, and you're going to see the effects of the policies not being written for us. And you can see like these people in the bourgeoisie, you can see them at the football games, you can see them in the parades, you can see them at the rodeo, you can see them this place, that place, this place, that place. But let a nigga walk up on them, talk about I'm hungry and I need a job. You feel me? They gonna look at them like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Back up off me, dog. But like, where, like, if you are such a public servant, bro, like, where's the service, dog? You know what I mean? And you can't. The thing is, I get it, right? And this is why I say we could do different, right? We got the internet. You don't got to lean on white people to make money no more. It's just not that time no more. And white people understand it. And that's why they are trying so hard not to educate us on AI, not to educate us on all of these different systems that have been created that liberate people as far as technology is concerned, because what's going to happen to the money? Where is my consumer base going to go? But until those who are in power, right? You know what I'm saying? What's that pastor in Atlanta that did the Target boycott? Like all of these pastors, all these politicians, all of these people that black people look to every day, every Sunday, all these black people who come together and they get all these likes and they walk around in their Gucci's and their Dior's and they drive their fancy cars. Until a group of them get some fucking backbones and they come together and they say, look, we're going to start an economic engine for black people. Don't get me started on how all of this weed flooded the entire country and it ain't but goddamn 2% of niggas who got any piece of that money, and they was making millionaires the day that legalization happened.
Listen, bro.
But all of them social equity programs that they put together for cannabis.
Colorado, bro.
Dog.
Colorado was one of the first states to legalize marijuana. You know what happened when they legalized marijuana?
What?
The arrest for Black and brown youth went through the roof for guess what charge? Marijuana.
Yeah.
Possession of marijuana. You hear me? Private prisons start locking up younger Black boys to compensate for those who they couldn't lock up for moving weight. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Like
North Carolina budget. North Carolina, the state of North Carolina just passed the budget yesterday. The governor signed it yesterday. They eliminated every DEI position or department in the state. So they signed a budget for the first time in 2 years, and Black unemployment rate went up. So that's why when you say Barack Obama or people your age feel like Barack Obama didn't do shit, it's because of these realities. You talking about it's good for us, but the shit you celebrating don't benefit us. Joe Biden had all this money for like internet, to get internet all throughout this country. That money ain't reached Black folk. Black folk don't land that fiber optics. And then so now in rural spaces like where I'm mayor, we got one. Yeah, now we didn't have internet before. So now the internet can reach the community. Guess what? Because there's only one provider, people can't afford it because they can charge more.
Charge whatever you want.
Do you know what's worse than not having for it to be in your community and you can't access it?
Yeah.
That's like why Black people like this shit ain't for me, dog.
It's not for me at all. And like the people that we are voting to make sure that there's stuff for me. What's the return on my investment? Because
I'll tell you what those people doing, dog. There's this Black guy named Cunningham. These black electeds. This shit happened in real life 2 weeks ago. Black Democrat in a majority Black county in Eastern North Carolina, bro. Eastern North Carolina, Edgecombe County is one of the majority Black counties. In this county, check this out now. I'm not even lying to you. This brother lost the primary, Democrat. He got mad. He lost to a more progressive candidate. Switched his party to unaffiliated. He's getting kicked out because he lost his race, so he won't be back. Republicans vetoed something the Democratic governor. They overrode. Well, they was trying to override a veto that the governor did that would have protected some of us. All they needed was for him, this Black guy, to show up, and the Republicans wouldn't have had a majority. They wouldn't have had enough to override the veto.
He didn't go.
Republicans, he was in the building. Republicans paid him or gave him something not to show up so that they could have the number of votes, the supermajority, to override the governor's veto. Him and another Black Democrat that lost her primary. She was from Charlotte. He was from the Black county. Charlotte has the raw number most Black people in the state. He is from percentage-wise where most Black people live. That's how we get bought out. That's why Black people that don't play politics are like, fuck y'all. Yeah. Because y'all do shit like that. On y'all way out, because y'all ain't doing what you're supposed to do for your constituents, you do shit like this.
Yeah.
2 Black people.
Yeah.
2 Black people, bro.
Yeah.
2 Black. These ain't. And now look, our Indian brother also lost his primary and switched his party. You know what he did? Showed up and voted with the Democrats. He could have acted just like them. He could have been salty that he lost, and he probably is because he switched his parties, but he still showed up with some integrity. These motherfuckers sold Black people down the road.
Yeah.
Or Walker, or whatever they got.
Man. So we got to wrap here in a minute, but I got 2 questions that I want to ask. My first question is, what made you decide to run for mayor in a former sundown town? What spurred that? Like, what made you decide, like, I'm going to be the change in this?
Yeah, 2 things. Feeling like a hypocrite, and then also that former sundown town is where I'm from. So I was born and raised in Black Bottom in Enfield, which is the only neighborhood that was safe for Black people during segregation, and where you had to go when that whistle went off and say Black people couldn't be free around. So I had to go back home, and what made me feel hypocritical was I was doing work all over this country, and then sometimes all over the world, in France, for Black people, because Black people in France they're not lucky at all. What I mean by that is France is one of those countries that makes it illegal to count what the services that the country provide based on race. So that prevents you from knowing if Black people aren't getting the service equitably because they don't let you track that. And I was over there doing that work and they kicked me out of the country one of the proudest days of my life. In Colombia, in Central South America, all over, anywhere where Black people were a minority part of the population, I was doing work. And then also in Kenya, I did a couple campaigns, and also Democratic Republic of Congo. So I felt like I'm doing all of this work for all of these people and leaving my people that I'm related to, grew up and know, to fight off this guy who was from New Jersey, white guy who was down there selling off our talent to his white friends, much like Trump is with America right now. So I went home to prevent him from continuing to sell off infill and push my people further away from the resources they needed to survive and exist in a way that made them whole citizens. Went back home to address the housing crisis. And also we are one of those small towns that luckily own our electric grid. So we can do something with that. And I saw that we need to be a part of this green wave to address what's plaguing our people so that we can benefit our people. So I went home to make sure that my people understood that we don't have to be the way that we are right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. And what like for context for everybody listening, what was the work that you were doing when you were traveling?
Yeah, so initially I was doing like civic engagement training for Black people, Black communities, teaching Black people how to organize outside of political infrastructure, what it meant to build power around issues and not personalities. So I was doing that training. And in Kenya was the one place where I was actually doing voter registration in 2017, I think, or 7. Yeah. So in 2007, I was doing work around that, and in Congo, I was actually running. I was political director for a candidate, Eddie Deshume, who lives here, was living in Ohio, went to school. He got his PhD in Ohio, was going back home to run for president. So I was his political director for his national campaign, which was basically building a political infrastructure all together, because it was a military strongman that he was going to run against, but his wife made him drop out because he was getting death threats. So
yeah. That's honorable work, man. That's honorable work. That's dope. That's real dope. That's real dope.
And of course, I started Black Male Voter Project.
Right, and that was my next question.
Yeah,
that was going to be my next question. Is what was the catalyst for that?
Yeah. So the catalyst was that for being a political consultant and being inside a political infrastructure in this country and seeing that people were not talking to Black men, they were just talking at them and also talking about them in a way that was not true. Like people kept saying that Black men were like they had this level of apathy towards politics. They didn't care. They were nonchalant about it. And then they also said shit that didn't ring true to Black men who were not this class of people you're talking about, the Black bourgeoisie, brothers who are regular brothers. So people thought that Black men were nonchalant, when in actuality, there's a level of hate. Antipathy and apathy are different feelings. And that antipathy is related to how we play politics in this country. This way that you can show up to my house not knowing anything or caring about anything I'm suffering through and tell me this is the most important election and it's what I need to do because people died for my right to vote, and you don't know shit about what I'm suffering through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the right to ask people for their vote if your first conversation is in an election year. You can't tell them the most important election because you ain't been there for any of their elections. So we saw that, and we created this approach, this BMEP editorial approach, because in this country there are 9.7 million Black men that are already registered, bro. So if we don't do any voter registration ever for Black men in this country, right, and we just try to turn out more, we can increase the participation or our likelihood that candidates that are beneficial to us could win just by reaching these brothers in a way that's transformative rather than transactional. Because of that 9.7 million that are already registered, only 27% are super voters, meaning they vote regularly. The rest, the other 63%, say that the system is not working for them and they don't find value in expressing their politics through a vote. And that is a failure of a system that spends billions of dollars every year to reach a demographic, and they only pay the same consultants over and over, using the same tactics over and over. Like they still giving money to the black preacher when the black church is a Black woman organization. The preacher himself may be Black, but a black man, but overwhelmingly is black women. And the black men that go there are the people who are super voters. There's an older black men. There's a study. This young brother who just got his PhD in theology out at Stanford, did this research and found out that 90% of black men that are your age and younger don't go to church at all. Yet and still, if you talk about black organization, they always talk about black women and they always talk about the black church. Neither of those are ways to motivate the black men. They talk about black entertainers, black LeBron James, Barack Obama, D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey. None of their existence look like what black men are suffering through.
Nothing
at all. So those can't be the spokesmen. Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, none of these rappers are living the same experience as black men who don't even know where they're going to sleep or eat tomorrow. And they're not going to be able to motivate them. That's why when the world lost their mind about Kanye West and Ice Cube going to meet with Republicans, it showed me that y'all don't know what the hell y'all are doing or how to engage this demographic. Just because black men listen to rap music don't mean that they're motivated. If you ask any average black man who's their leader, they're going to look at you like you got three heads. They don't have leaders. They're not looking for leaders. That generation of black men are gone where they're looking for a leader. They if you ask them, they're their own leader and they're taking their own marching orders for themselves. So this idea that you're going to reach them by scaring them with Donald Trump or you're going to put D.L. Hughley in them and try to embarrass them, that shit ain't going to work. It's just going to be a turnoff and you're going to do more harm than help.
Yeah. I just ran to be the SDEC committeeman for the Black Caucus at the Democratic Party here, and that was really my whole message, was that, like, the party just talks at us and it does not talk to us, and the way that we organize black communities is very inauthentic and is disingenuous. Yeah. It's not like, hey, y'all, you know what I'm saying, we really trying to do better. It's like, your grandma died for this and don't nobody give a fuck.
That shit ain't gonna move nobody. You really gonna get smacked in the face if you approach the wrong brother with that bullshit. Like, fuck, you know about my grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't nobody care about that, dog. Like, it don't move nobody. And I've been screaming this, bro, to anybody who would listen. Even if you don't want to listen, I'm like, y'all are doing it wrong, bro. And they like, you're looking at me like, who are you? I'm a black man. Shit. Like, I'm a black man, bro. I'm one of the few that's actually involved. I'm one of the few that's actually listening. And I'm one of the few that can live in both spaces. I can be in the boardroom and in the street. And I can tell you that every nigga I know on the block don't give a damn about what none of them niggas in the suit talking about.
None of that shit resonate with them, bro.
They don't care at all. None of it resonates. None of it makes them feel seen. None of it makes them feel heard. And none 100%. Of it puts money in their pocket. 100%. But none of these people, none of the here in Texas, you know what I'm saying? The chair, first it was Gilbert, 10 years, fucking losing. Now we got Kendall. Kendall doing all right? We got Democrats in every race across the state. That's great. But what you gonna do about these black people? How you gonna get these black people to come? White man from East Texas. What you gonna say to some niggas? Because you from East Texas.
And guess what? He from East Texas, and it's 32 counties east of Dallas and also Houston, that reach from Louisiana all the way down to the Gulf Coast, and it's 66,000 black men that they never had none of them motherfuckers knock on these doors.
None of them. And you think them black people forgot that they drugged that black man behind that truck out there?
Come on, man. Man.
How we going when we gonna be real about the race relations between white people and black people to be able to even fix the schism in the Democratic Party when y'all keep acting like it's all sunshines and rainbows and we the ones that's tripping?
And the fucked up part about it is, and we know it ain't gonna be this election, because when you ask that question, when is it gonna be? It ain't gonna be this one, because guess what he's doing? They out here bragging about the fact that Tallarico is spending money that on TV. He didn't, bro. $3 million already on ads in June. Why you ain't put that $3 million in a field team out in East Texas? Why you ain't go? It's expensive to knock the doors. It's expensive because you choose what is expensive. It's expensive to waste money on ads when we know they don't reach people or motivate.
Do not work.
And it's the worst spend on money, dog. That's my problem with people blaming black men being, they sexist. That's why they didn't vote for Kamala. Bro, let me say something to y'all. You spent $1 billion. Kamala Harris spent $1 billion, bro. Listen to me. $1 billion was raised for that candidate. No new black millionaires were made. No black organization made over $1 million except for one. Guess which one that was? A fucking limousine company out of Delaware. Is the only black vendor that made over $1 million. Black people completely got less than 3% of that $1 billion.
They gave D.L. Hughley some money though.
Come on, man.
They gave D.L. Hughley some money. They
And
gave D.L.
what
Hughley
he
some
did
money.
was he hurt their cause. Young people listening to that shit like, man, you don't get to fucking talk to me.
Don't
like
nobody even fucking like D.L. Hughley like that. Like the Hughley show was cool, but after that nigga got off of cable TV, ain't nobody checking for D.L. fucking Hughley.
No, definitely not the majority of black men that are voting. So that's what I'm trying to tell them. They still catering to the black men that were baby boomers. Them motherfuckers are not the majority of black men, and they will never be ever again. It's your generation. And here's what I tell people all the time. When people get mad at how y'all show up, your generation and Zers, I always tell them this one thing. It is more of them than it's ever been black men ever in the history of this country. Those are the two largest generations ever, and they are blacker, way blacker than baby boomers were. Baby boomers was a large generation, but only like 17 or 18% or some shit were black. Right now, y'all generation is 42% something other than white. It is more black people in your generation and the one behind it than ever. So why the fuck are we not listening? We have a mandate to understand your version of what blackness is because it's gonna be the lasting one.
I mean, the answer to that is these old niggas don't want to relinquish that power. Right. I told my partner this, right? You know what I'm saying? And I got to get ready to go to dinner. So we're gonna close. I told my partner this because I got a lot of politically rambunctious partners, right? They want to, they want to fight the power. They trying to do their thing. And when they jump out there and they get punched in the mouth real hard, they like, Christian, what's going on? And I'm like, you got to remember that you was playing with people's money, dog. This is a war, bro. Like, and unless you can get your ass out there and you can get the people behind you. It ain't fuck that money, fuck that TV, fuck all of that shit, bro. Go outside, talk to the people, keep talking to the people, stay in their face, knock on their door, call them, bro. Meet them at the grocery store, get outside, sweat. It's the only way you're gonna win, fam. You're not gonna win out spending them, bro. Citizens United fucked it up for us. We can't beat them with the money, bro. But the way that you can beat them is if you got 500,000 niggas that you could call right now and be like, yo, this is how we move it. If at any time, this is why Huey Newton died. This is why Martin Luther King died. This is why Malcolm X died. This is why the other brother in Chicago died. This is why them niggas died. This is why they kicked Marcus Garvey out the country. This is why they don't like Farrakhan, because Farrakhan got an army of niggas who he can command to move at his will.
And he created enterprise that can feed himself. He got the biggest black-owned farm in the country.
You know what I mean? Like, but the young guys is, you know what I'm saying? The young guys that are around my age, right? You know what I mean? I get it, right? I get it. They want they shot in the sun. And to get your shot in the sun, you got to be digestible right now. Right now. But mark my words, that shit is changing.
Yeah.
It's actually changed today. Yeah. It's not the same anymore. So if you are running for office and you are a young brown person and you are out here placating to other brown people like a white man would, you are going to lose.
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose. Nobody wants to hear that shit.
And you should lose.
You should lose. You should do what is right for the fucking people. And if you do not do what's right for the fucking people, if you're not speaking the issues that the people actually give a fuck about, the people should organize against you. And we should find somebody else. And I was talking to somebody about the James Tallarico thing, and they was like, one of my partners, right? And I look up to bro. He was like, I'm afraid of what Ken Paxton is gonna do. And going back to niggas being scared, right? They're afraid of what Ken Paxton is gonna do. And mind you, right? And I say this every time I'm voting for James Tallarico, but he has to earn the black vote. That it has to happen. And because we are afraid of some shit that niggas have already been through before with a type of white person that we've already experienced before, we need to get our house in order. And if we don't get our house in order, shit is going to continually be fucked up, and our kids and our grandkids and their grandkids is going to be fucked up because niggas pussy.
Yeah, and motherfucking and look, Paxton ain't no different than motherfucking Abbott, and Abbott got more control because he's right there in Texas. Fucking Paxton go to fucking DC. He got to be one. He got to be 1 on 100. So that shit is that's a bullshit ass reason, and that shit don't ring true to people. So I'm with you 100%. We should also note, bro, that that quiet Negro shit don't work. Like you need to be out loud, bro. People told me, oh, there's no way you're gonna be. I beat in the comment by 57 percentage points.
Oh, that's what's up.
57 percentage points. I ran 0 ads, bro.
Yeah.
I knocked on every fucking door in my neighborhood, in my town.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to tell people, listen, the idea about money, what you just said is so important. Here's what people need to leave. And I know you got to go. This is what I want to leave people in my last thought. Think about this. If you're interested in politics, the last 4 presidential campaigns with the most money lost.
For sure. For sure. That's it right there. That's it right there. Look, man, y'all, I knew this is why I ain't playing no music today. I ain't had time for a music break. I did not have time for a music break. Mayor Robinson, man, I really appreciate this, man. This has been a blessing. I'm one of them brothers that still go to church.
Hey man, that's me too. Me too. Every Sunday.
This is a blessing, man. I really appreciate. Well, one, I want to appreciate myself for being brave enough to email you and make this connection and start this relationship, because I really appreciate being able to talk to other brothers who have similar mindsets, especially outspoken. I don't meet a lot of brothers in your age range who are as bold and outspoken about politics and black people. And it is rewarding, you know what I mean? Especially being who I am and people telling me that I need to tone it down and that I need to participate in a different kind of way. It is very much so empowering to meet somebody like yourself and to see you doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations to you. And I really, really, really appreciate you taking this time to speak to me and, you know, like help me make these clips so that we can show these people what it is for real.
Yeah, bro. And I just want to leave you with this. I don't want nobody to be naive. I don't want to be a martyr. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to be a martyr. I want you to be around to grow old. I want you to be an old man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I also want you to know that form of what that people are telling you to tone it down, that shit ain't got us nowhere. They killed King and he was super tone.
Yeah.
Super tone. Your job is to do exactly what you're doing out loud, bro. When I became mayor, the first thing I did was I tore down a Confederate monument.
Yeah, I read that.
I'm the only mayor in the history of this country to physically tear down a Confederate monument with my own hands, fucking hammer and a backhoe. And that tells me that we waiting on people to let us be out loud will still have Confederate monuments and Confederate policies in our politics, because everybody before me saw that same monument in the middle of a park. Bro, your job is to turn down every proverbial Confederate monument out loud on live TV that comes in front of you. If it's policy, if it's running for office, if it's reshaping your county party, I'm paying. Whenever you call me, bro, if I'm available, I'm available. I promise.
I appreciate that, man. And Nick, I'm gonna tap in with you. I will definitely connect you. Nick Dangerfield, right here, man. Nick is you know what I'm saying, he a brother down here in Texas, man. Good brother, very much so involved. I'm gonna tap in with you. Shout out to Coretta. Shout out Derek. You know what I'm saying? Derek, you always got some toxic shit to say, but I appreciate you engaging anyway. Hey, Aunt Cynthia, you know what I mean? Coretta, I hope James Tallarico give me some money. I emailed him.
He better be seeking you out.
I emailed, bro. I sent him an email. I called the guy that represents his campaign in Harris County. Like, you know what I mean? I applied to work for him. I've been trying to tell him.
Can I give you a hint?
Yeah.
At that Negro or that white boy, at him, at Roland Martin, at Black Media, and then and some other white media, and say, you know, tell him who you are and why he's failing ethically at an opportunity that he shouldn't. And then see if they still sit silent. And if they do, that speaks volumes.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it.
Me too, so I can talk about it. because I
I'm gonna
want
take your advice because
he
I
needs,
mean,
he needs you as a consultant, not as an employee.
yeah, I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help. But it's that time. I appreciate you, Mayor. I'm gonna reach out to you. Nick, I'm gonna make sure to connect you with Mayor Robinson. If anybody wants to get down, I know there's plenty of work that needs to be done with the Black Male Voter Project, and hopefully I can bring Mayor Robinson to Houston, Texas, and we could do some. We could put something together.
Done a plenty of campaigns in Texas, bro. IE work down there. I love Texas. I feel like Texas and Mississippi should already be Democratic strongholds, but we got bullshit ass people in charge of the money.
Yeah, and we're gonna get rid of them. We're gonna get rid of them. But
All
that's
right, bro.
our show, man. Thank you so much. Peace, peace. Until
Peace.
next week. Have a good one.